Hey guys, it's Sapphire Star 9145 here, and this is a tutorial on how to draw clothes. So I got a request from somebody to do a tutorial about this, and I'm going to be doing like 4 pieces of clothing. So the first piece of clothing that I want to show you how to draw is just like a plain t-shirt. So I'm just gonna do like how to draw it, like the shape of it, and like the shape of the shirt, and where like the wrinkles would go and that stuff. Because even for me, like a lot of times, like before too, it was so hard to even draw clothes and make like the wrinkles look natural. Even now, like it's very difficult. So I'm gonna do a tutorial, and the first one is how to do a t-shirt. So let's get started. I'm just gonna make like the outline of the actual person first, because that's something that obviously helps a lot, because like a shirt obviously looks different than like just by itself than actually like on a person. And then you can see like the wrinkles like on the arms and stuff where it should be like with a real person. So I'm just gonna draw a little body, sort of like top of the body, just so we can put in the shirt. So there it is. I just put a basic outline of like the top part of a body. And for these I'm gonna do like, basically this is a girl body, so like the hips and everything and all those kind of things are more like girlish. So yeah, I just have the top part, and now we're just gonna start putting in the shirt. Now one thing, obviously when you're actually doing your drawings, you would have this sketch, like probably if you're doing maybe like a full body or something that's like a lot of the body that you want to put like the basic layout first. So that's basically like what this is. So I just have like the basic shape of her body, and then I'm gonna start adding the clothing on top. So this is just like a basic t-shirt. So one thing, we're just gonna start with the top over here, and I'm sorry if I don't like know the like official terms for all this stuff, like the collar or like seams and that kind of stuff. I don't really know much about like that real stuff and like real like names of kinds of shirts or anything, but I'm just gonna call it like whatever I can. So just try to bear with me with that. So I'm just gonna make the collar, I guess, and you can do it with clothes. You can really just like do whatever you want. Like you can make it wider, really like a turtleneck, or just whatever. And you can like, also something that's good is looking at like fashion books, which have like lots of different types of like shirts, and they all have like their own names and stuff, and that really like inspires me a lot to have like to make good outfits and stuff. But really don't just like copy it, like make up stuff for your own and like mix and match like this collar with like this type of sleeve and stuff to make your own like cute little creation. So this is just a normal t-shirt. So I'm gonna make like a collar that's pretty basic, not really like a V-neck or anything, just like a round kind of thing. So I'm just making this shape right here by the neck, not really so tight but not really so like open, just like this. And then one thing when you're doing clothes, like sometimes the clothes are tight, but most of the time they're not really that tight. They're like just like, you can see the shape of the body, but you can also see like the shape of the clothes itself. So don't just draw like lines on the body and say there's a shirt there. So what I'm gonna do, like as an example of that, is the collar isn't just like on the edge of the shoulder. You're actually having it come up a little bit, and then you're gonna see it coming from behind here like this. Now some shirts, obviously they have like a thin fabric and all that kind of stuff comes into it too, so maybe you don't see this sort of area in the back. But I'm gonna do that because I think that makes it look a bit more realistic too, like 3D, not so flat. So I have this, and one thing for this collar is I'm just gonna put a little like line around here, just like this, looking like a little border. And when I do something like this, you can make it like a different color on the edge, or you can just make it look like that's a seam or something. But that's obviously just like everyone's own design and stuff, so I'm just putting like a line there. And that's basically the collar. And now I'm gonna start going down with these sleeves. So the sleeves are just gonna come down simply, and they're pretty tight at the shoulder, like fitting to the body, but then once they get down here, they're gonna be pretty open. And this is just like a short sleeve t-shirt, so it's just gonna be down here. So now it's sort of like fitting over here, and then just sort of comes out. And that's the good thing when you have the body outline too, so you can see the arm is there, and then the shirt's coming out there. And one thing for this is that we're gonna put a little thing behind it here to show like how it's curving around the arm, and that makes it look a lot more realistic. So you can see how this arm line is still there, and then there's just like a little thing coming around. And I'm also gonna try to make this not so diagonal, try to make it like straight, or else it looks kind of uneven. And then I'm gonna make the next sleeve, and I'm gonna try to make it like as much as like the same as possible. Though obviously there can be like types of shirts where like the sleeves are different or something, but this since it's gonna be like a plain t-shirt, I want to make sure it doesn't look like the sides are off, like I made a mistake, not like it's supposed to be like that on purpose. So I'm just trying to make it like the same thing and putting this little thing down there, and there's like the sleeves. Now you can see the basic shape of it. Now I'm just going down here. I don't really need to do anything over here. I'm just gonna sort of like open it up here, because it's pretty tight in this area, and then as it comes down here, it's just like not really fitting so much, just like a plain t-shirt. So it's not really like fitting so much to her body. And then it's coming around here, and on the bottom like curve here, try not to make it so just like straight, try to make it more curved. That makes it look more like realistic, because this is more like a manga style, though it's not really like manga. I don't think it has its own style of like clothes. You can really do like a cartoony style, or you can do a kind of more realistic style, but it's kind of like you don't want it to look flat right now, so we want it to look sort of real but still like cartoony, so not really too many details. So there, that's like the basic shape. I'm gonna try to make it even on both sides of this, just so it doesn't look like her waist is like different, like it's like two different sides or something. Like the waist has like symmetry. So yeah, you can keep erasing and redrawing and stuff. And there you go, that's like the basic outline. So now one thing I want to do is put like a seam over here, and this just is gonna come up like that. You don't really have to do these things, though they kind of make it look more realistic. And sometimes I like when I'm like coloring to make it like the sleeves are like a different tone than this shirt, or like there's like one t-shirt and then like a short like shirt on top of it or something. So I like to put these things here. It makes it look more realistic and cool. So those seams, and also we have that seam of the collar too. You can put other seams too, like on the side. Though a lot of other seams come from like a 3/4 view, or like on the usually on the side of the shirt. That right now you can't really see it, or like on the shoulder or the sleeves, like down here, or like on the inside of the sleeve. There's usually like a seam in there too, I think. But I'm not really too sure about this stuff. But anyway, now that I made the basic shape, I'm gonna start putting in the wrinkles and the little folds and stuff of the shirt. So I'm gonna start up here. This is probably where I see the most. Most of the time where I usually put the most. I'm just gonna put lines over here, because it's sort of like when her arms are like down to her body, it's all crinkled up there, and then when they're out though, it's pretty straight. So I'm just gonna put some lines here and put some lines here. So lines up there and just lines over here too. Same thing on the other side. And when you're doing this, like folds and stuff, you don't want it to be the exact same places on each side. You want it to look like it's something naturally happening, so you don't want it to be like the exact same lines and stuff, because that makes it look like unrealistic. So you can make it like different lines to make it look kind of good. And so there, that's what it looks like. And then one thing I want to do is put like a line here on this part of the shirt, a little bit, maybe like a little crinkle like that. And then I'm gonna put some wrinkles like down here. So one thing I like to do when I'm doing wrinkles is kind of make like a shape, like this shape right here. You see this sort of like almost like a triangular shape, like that. It's like the fold, and then you just have like a line coming out like that. That's something I see very often. It looks like the fabric is sort of like folding, and then like folding over to this like wrinkle right here. Though it's kind of very like a big looking thing. You can make them like small or really big. But anyway, I'm just putting like some of those on the side. I like to put them like right at the waist, because it looks like it's like folding right there, because it's being like small and then out, because that's like the waist shape. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to make it look good. Make just smaller ones or bigger ones. All this stuff just depends on how you like to do it and what kind of like fabric and all that other stuff that goes into the picture. Then also you can make some wrinkles under here, because that's like the shadows and stuff, and it's kind of like tight. So you can put like lines right under like that to make it look kind of realistic. So there. Now that's basically the basic shirt. And if you guys want to see any like things about coloring clothes, I already have a tutorial on that, so you can check that out. I have like a t-shirt coloring and stuff, which is basically just like where to put the shadows. So I'm not really going to get into that now. This is more about the drawing. So I'm just going to go off to the side and shade this all in and put in the shadows and stuff. And then you guys can see how it looks in the end. So there it is. This is how it looks when I finish shading it and everything. And I just did a pretty blended style, putting like shadows where the wrinkles are and under different areas where like shadows would be. But obviously that depends on like light source and stuff. So anyway, that's the shirt, the plain t-shirt. And now I want to go on to a pair of pants. So there I just outlined basically like above, sort of like at the hips and then like below. So yeah, basically the pants are gonna end about right here above the knees, and yeah. So they're gonna start basically at the waist. So I'm gonna start by putting in something that I don't know what it's called, but you guys probably know what I mean. Just like a little thingamajigger over here. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, so there. I'm just putting it in sort of like this. And one thing, I'm just doing it lightly because I'm gonna have like the belt loops in it too. So I'm trying to make it even too a little bit, like that. And then I'm gonna put belt loops on both sides, just two. Though obviously like the full pants, if you're drawing like a back view or whatever, it'll be a bit different. So this is just like a front view of it. So I'm just having these belt loops, and they can be pretty thin. Well, these are a bit thick though, but they can be really thin, it's okay. And you can put like a belt, but right now she's not really gonna have a belt, but you can still see these little loops. So yeah, I just put that sort of bar in, and now I'm gonna put like the button or whatever, like it's split here. It's split down like this. It's two pieces, and then there's the button. So I'm just making it sort of come down from one side, and it's just from like one part of the pants like this, and then it comes down and sort of like curves up. And then we have the little button hole right there. Or not really the button hole, just the button itself, just the little like dot. And then I'm gonna put like lines over here like that, just little lines sort of coming up. So it looks like it's like connecting. So now you can see it looks like this is one piece of pants, and then this is one piece of pants. So when I put this line up here, I don't want it to look like the same, because I don't want it to be like one smooth line. I want it to be like one piece here and then another piece down there. I know it doesn't seem like that much, though it makes it look a lot more like realistic, because this piece is like going over that piece. It's not just one straight piece. And sorry if I'm not able to explain this stuff really well, because yeah, I'm not really that good at explaining, though I hope you guys know what I mean, because this isn't really like drawing stuff. This is just like common knowledge of people that wear pants would know, like these things that the pants like fold over in these places and stuff. So anyway, I just put in the top part over here.